2023 was an excellent year for me personally. I got a lot accomplished, cruising through the next level of my doctoral degree, and to be frank, probably one of my best years in a long time. With every New Year's Eve, we get an opportunity to reflect on all the things we've accomplished and things we would like to accomplish in the future. However, there's some things that we can leave in 2023. In fact, some of the shit we should have left a long time ago. Now, I could spend 30 minutes going over all the things that I didn't like in 2023, but I honestly feel like that's a waste of time, especially today being the last day of 2023. We can still go over 4 topics that I don't want to see in 2024. There are certain stories that just really have lived past their expiration date, and I would argue the 2 following stories that I'm going to cover are prime examples of that phenomenon. We are not taking these 2 stories into 2024 because number 1, they weren't that interesting in the first place, and number 2, the election is coming up. And guess what? We will be covering that in great detail. So let's get rid of these 2 irrelevant stories and pray to God that no one try to resurrect them in the next coming months. Look, I don't know if TJ Holmes and Amy Robach realize it, but we don't find their coupling cute. There's nothing attractive about 2 people who cheated on their spouses and then hooked up afterwards. We didn't like it when Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie did it, and we don't like it now. See, I was going to do a much longer video about TJ Holmes specifically and his history of using the black community to stay afloat after he got bitch slapped out of CNN. Then moving over to BET just to put his nose up and pretend like he was too good to be around the niggas. I could be super petty and point out how he used to pretend like he was biracial in college to explain his command of the English language and overall presentation. Can't you just say you had 2 good black parents? Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of TJ Holmes, but he's one of those people that you can ignore because he's pretty under the radar. And until this whole story with him and Amy Robach.
We have fought for love, and I can say that I've never been happier. I am with my best friend.
They broke their silence on the headlines that nearly broke them.
I wanted to die. There were days where I wanted to die.
1 year after they made their final GMA appearance.
You know, it's too bad it's Friday.
Is it?
TJ and Amy are telling their truth and laying their lives bare.
We have gone through, I think it's fair to say, a year of hell, but we have had each other through it all.
The co-anchors turned couple launched their podcast only days after making their romance red carpet official. TJ and Amy smiled and joked in front of the cameras, but behind the microphones, they revealed the true toll of the fallout after their relationship was exposed to the public.
I just didn't want to get up. I didn't want to see what new headline was going to be out there.
When photos were first published of the 2 of them together last November, they first agreed they would stay on the air.
I want this one to keep going and going and going.
But TJ and Amy recounted the terrible story of what had happened only hours after what would turn out to be their last broadcast.
You had to do a welfare check, I guess, is the best way to put it.
You sent me a text basically saying, I'm sorry. You were the love of my life. And you just kept saying you were sorry, but you were using past tense in the entire text. But I was so afraid that he had done something, and I started to cry. And my mom looked at me and she was like, you have to go down there right now. You need to go check. And I remember it was the most awful thing, having to touch your body to see if you were warm. I said, baby, tell me you're okay. Tell me you're okay. And you were kind of just making no sense, but I knew you were alive and I knew you were going to be okay.
Then, 1 year ago, today,
You may have heard the report that former GMA anchors TJ Holmes and Amy Robach were allegedly dirty dancing at the wedding of a former colleague. Well, now the couple is telling their version of what happened.
Did TJ Holmes and Amy Robach show too much PDA at a wedding? Reports claimed they were seen very dirty dancing on the dance floor. Now the ousted GMA3 co-hosts are speaking out on their new podcast.
You and I know, and everyone at the wedding knows, you didn't even get on the dance floor.
It's hilarious. The idea that we were dirty dancing at a wedding reception where the band and the genre of music was yacht rock. Imagine me and Robach dirty dancing to it. What do you even do?
The weekend wedding of a well-liked Today Show producer brought together the nation's top morning show hosts. Even ousted Matt Lauer went. TJ Holmes posted this video from inside the reception, showing guests dancing while he and Amy stayed seated at their table.
It's very funny to see someone say something that not only isn't true, but couldn't have been further from the truth.
And they also appeared to address the shocking report that their ex-spouses are now dating.
There were other headlines this week with agendas, and we absolutely anticipated that was going to happen. But this place, this podcast, this platform is not and will never be about gossip. We are not going to get into that back and forth games because gossip is toxic.
While they deny dirty dancing, the couple does admit to being overly handsy in public.
Amy Robach is in a very different situation than TJ Holmes. Number one, Amy Robach has a $50 million inheritance, and her separation from her husband was far more amicable than TJ's separation from Marley, his ex-wife. TJ Holmes was the primary breadwinner, and he also has 3 children with Marley. So I'm imagining that he has to pay child support, maybe even spousal support. Now, the court records are sealed right now, so I can't get all the details that I would prefer to have. But here's the bottom line. TJ got cleaned the fuck out. He has to pay a lot of money for this relationship. He has to go all in because financially, he's all out. But here's where it gets funny. Since Amy has all the flexibility in the world, she could easily leave this relationship and find a new guy to entertain. And sometimes people do that. They engage in an affair to get out of a marriage, to ultimately start a new relationship with someone else. In the end, it looks like Amy Robach is the one who's really winning. According to the rumor mill, TJ's already cheating. I mean, he got that dog in him. That's just how he is. But Amy Robach has all the cards, and at any given time, she can leave his broke ass high and dry and move on to the next Mendingo. This Jussie Smollett story has gone on way too friggin' long. It started off as a weird story in 2019 where actor Jussie Smollett from the flopped television show Empire was viciously attacked in the middle of the night in Chicago during I think it was like a polar vortex by some white ruffians. Now, I'm not gonna go through the whole fucking story because it was all a lie. I mean, the story is really ridiculous, but at the end of the day, what we learned was he hired some Nigerian how should I describe these guys? Should I call them his drug dealers? Should I call them his personal associates? Let's use that. His personal associates. He hired these 2 super large Nigerian personal associates to stage this physical assault that never happened and blamed it on some anonymous white people who we would never know. All so he can get attention and possibly get a little bit more money from Fox, who is ending Empire within the next 2 seasons. Well, Fox got rid of Empire a lot faster once they found out this whole story was a bunch of bullshit. And for the last almost 5 years, we've been dealing with this ridiculous, stupid, redundant story involving a washed up actor who probably should have just accepted the fact that his show was ending and looked for something new to do, as opposed to try to manipulate not only the American public, but primarily black people into supporting his bullshit. An Illinois appeals court upheld actor Jussie Smollett's conviction for his staged hate crime in an opinion filed on Friday. The decision was 2-1, with Justice David Navarro and Justice Mary Ellen Cohan agreeing. Judge Fredrina Lyle dissented, according to the court document obtained by Fox News Digital. Smollett's legal team intends to file an appeal with the U.S. Supreme Court, because Lord knows this situation merits the U.S. Supreme Court.
Is way beyond anything else that can happen to you from me or any other judge that would be sentencing you in this criminal case. You are now a permanently convicted felon. Your family, who loves you and supports you, I don't even want to use the word forgive, because forgiveness isn't even necessary. They're with you so much, they're so tight-knit, but you have to live with the fact that you really put them through a ringer. You've embarrassed your valuable friends in high places, elected public officials, people in the media. You've embarrassed them. You have to live with that. I don't know if those relationships can be repaired. You've become toxic in your own workplace. Your career future is uncertain at very best. It was really on a rocket ship to success, and now you've turned yourself into riches to rags, and it's so unfortunate. Your very name has become an adverb for lying, and I cannot imagine what could be worse than that. Trying to consider who you are as a person, how you got here, how somehow you strayed away from your family values. You let that dark, narcissistic, selfish, and arrogant side come out, and you persisted with it for years on this case. I'm fashioning the following sentence. Here's your sentence. I'm sentencing you to 30 months felony probation, and the probation is going to be to this court. You're going to be allowed to travel wherever you want. You do not have to live in the state of Illinois. You can report by phone. I know that if you're going to try to make a living and do some of the things you do, you may have to go to other places, New York and Los Angeles. You can do those things. You will pay restitution to the city of Chicago in the amount of $120,106. You are fined $25,000, which is the maximum fine. And you will spend the first 150 days of your sentence in the Cook County Jail. And that will start today, right here, right now.
I would just like to say to you, I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time. I am not suicidal.
Okay. Mr. Uche, let me inquire, are there any post-sentencing motions you care to present? Court is adjourned.
I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal, and I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
Most of us would have gotten over the whole Jussie Smollett situation a long time ago. Number one, many of us don't give a shit about the Chicago Police Department, one of the most corrupt police departments in the United States. There was just an article in the USA Today just showing the history of corruption by the Chicago Police Department. Article focused on multiple incidents of racism, police brutality, and corruption. Article, released on February 5th, 2023, focused on Chicago Police Sergeant Ronald Watts and how he framed dozens during his tenure in the Chicago Police Department. At the end of the day, ain't nobody out here crying about how the Chicago police were treated so terribly by Jussie Smollett. I think the real issue is, all these years later, we're still talking about it. I mean, Jussie, you should have just did your time. I mean, they were essentially going to give you a slap on the wrist. You would have went in, did your little time. How much would it have cost to get some protection while you were in jail? Hell, R. Kelly is in jail doing concerts. All you would have to do was pay some fucking Crips or whatever the gang is in there, get a little protection for the 90 days you're in, come out, explain yourself, and we would have moved on to other things. I mean, since this whole ordeal has went down, we've had a whole pandemic and then a post-pandemic response. We don't care. And honestly, you need to just do your time at this point. He's a grown-ass man who decided to make a ludicrous-ass lie, and hey, take your medicine, period. Can we be finally done with DJ Akademiks? I don't even get the name. He is neither a DJ nor is he a scholar. So DJ Akademiks never made a lot of sense to me. I came across his content almost 10 years ago when he was doing his War on Chirac series. Essentially, the series was him making fun of local Chicago rappers who either were going through legal troubles or ultimately died. Here's a clip, a walk down memory lane of the type of content DJ Akademiks was into.
Check it out now. See, these niggas don't plan on living more than 10 to 15, maybe 20 years. 25, you're pushing it. 30, you definitely a senior citizen, okay? At least in Chirac. Now, Fredo Santana, the Chirac Lucifer, he had to check into the hospital, not cause the cops called him. You know that's not gonna happen. However, he was sipping too much lean, okay? And by the way, he didn't indicate this, but you know what it is. He's sipping lean like a motherfucker, gut been growing fast as a motherfucker, and the reason why he's drinking too much lean. Now, the side effects of drinking too much lean, we've seen in many other cases. We've seen Rick Ross, seizure.
Yeah, Fredo Santana will be dead less than a year from that video. And that was the type of content DJ Akademiks created, gleefully laughing and reporting the demise of young black men in Chicago. Akademiks is neither from Chicago, nor is he Black American, so it's all the more suspicious why he had so much fascination about what was going on in the Chicago gang scene. Now, DJ Akademiks claimed that it had to do with the fact that these were rappers involved in criminal and sometimes drug-related issues. Thus, he had the right to report on it. But DJ Akademiks is not a real DJ, and he's never promoted any of these artists' music. So to just cover their demise shows that's what he was really interested in, their destruction. Luckily, Vic Mensa was one of the few people that would check him straight to his face.
We were a little bit repulsed by the fact that so many people outside the culture of Chicago, they hyped up the music not knowing that real lives were being affected. How do you feel about it?
I wanted to slap you in your face, honestly. People exactly like you made a following off of clowning situations that we go through in real life. Whatever made you feel like you had a space to have a perspective on our people dying?
Drill was so hyped up by everyone. I had to give a different perspective. The content was not just negative.
It was just negative. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, I really think you a bitch. Who made you eligible to even weigh in? You sitting at a computer,
Everybody weighs in.
fucking typing. You talking about real shit. What you know about that, bro?
No.
Those are ballsy things to say, not coming from a ballsy person. It's just kind of sick when it's real people dying young. I'm at those funerals. Man, that's some whole shit. But we should just move on.
DJ Akademiks has managed to survive a lot of things. The failure of everyday struggle, nosedive of his channel on YouTube. But this might be the nail in his coffin. From the looks of it, a young lady that DJ Akademiks invited to his home has filed some kind of a complaint. Or at very least, she intends to file some complaint against him. Now, the evidence is very sketchy. It's very reminiscent of what happened with Tupac, where a young woman who was supposed to be with him ended up getting sexually assaulted by people that weren't him, but he still ended up going to jail for it. That case still doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's how it happened with Tupac. And that led to Tupac going to Death Row Records. Now, the way that DJ Akademiks is handling this situation, going to social media and not going to his lawyer, leads me to believe that he either doesn't take this very seriously or he's really, really stupid. But this is what the young lady had to say.
I look crazy right now, but I'm not going to stand here and let this man continue to lie about me. That's not what happened, Akademiks. You know that that's not what happened. And for you to pretend that you didn't do anything, that I just went to your house and I'm just some thought, like we didn't know each other for 2 years. You tried to save yourself after your friends assaulted me. Whether or not you got drunk or not, I know that when you woke up, you were on top of me too. You raped me too, and a rape kit was done. You know what? I'm gonna come back with my own story. This what you wanted, you're about to get it. I've been quiet for way too long.
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you, bro. You came to my house and had 2 niggas just fuck you raw. I ain't seen no condom, no none. I said, yo, you should go get tested, man. Like, you done. I said, that's wild, yo. You should go get tested, bro. And from that moment, she started, like, because the denial shifted and she kept, like, trying to, like, pivot on the denial to, yo, nah, send me the video. Yo, I'm pretty sure I didn't fuck him. And I'm like, bro, you fucked him. And she was like, no, look again. And now I'm getting super tight because I'm like, bro, I'm not about to watch this video if you getting fucked, my nigga. Like, it's on my surveillance. Like, bro, like, I was fucking with you. Like, what? You want me to watch the video if you getting fucked? Cool. She keeps saying that, whatever. She then tells me, by the way, I ain't gonna lie, and I'm gonna keep it a bean about everything. My homies did not tell me they fucked her. At that point, I only seen on my security cam. My homies did not tell. Remember, they woke me up that night. Yo, let us out. Let us out the crib, or lock the crib. They did not tell me they fucked the bitch that came for me. They never told me that. You know when that conversation happened? The woodworks. I'd never said who you were, shorty. okay? And I'm not even gonna play because she made a video. I'm not even gonna play the video you made. But what I do want to show, number one, first and foremost, if everything or anything you're saying is true, a nigga would have been charged. Nothing happened. You feel me? No case, no nothing. Also, I will say this. These are things that the police and everybody else looked at they damn self. You know, unlike the Casanat incident, I will say this one was something that the police handled, not social media. It's crazy now that the police handled it, nothing happened. They said, oh, okay, this wasn't shit. Now, Shorty's trying to, and again, I don't know how she just jumped into the mix, but I'm going to show you exactly. And by the way, I can't show certain shit. Like, for example, I sent her a video of her at my poolside with two niggas. I said I was sleeping. I can't show you that explicit photo. I still got the image of that. Feel me? I can't post it on here, clearly. But the police seen all this shit. Like, they seen everything.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Azure, you just complained that DJ Akademiks built his career on pretty much the demise of young black men and turned it into YouTube clout. Isn't that exactly what you're doing right now? I guess in theory you could say that's the case, but the difference between myself and DJ Akademiks is I don't intend to follow this story anymore. I mean, unless something very big happens here, I'm done. I reported it. You guys follow it if you're interested. DJ Akademiks built his career on following from the incarceration to the literal death of many of these Chicago drill rappers. I'm not saying he made these rappers engage in gang activity, nor did he tell them to mix up some dirty Sprite and drink it until they ultimately die. But to sit back and enjoy it and mock it, it hits different. Yeah, we don't need to in 2024. The last thing we need to get rid of is what I call black antagonist content. There's all kinds of black antagonist content. You have your black feminist content made up of the divestment circle, which is really just black misandrists. You also have the red pill sector, which is basically a circle of males who complain about black women, uplift and deify non-black women, i.e. the inverse version of the divestment community. Then you have your race hustlers like Tariq Nasheed and Omar Johnson with their fugazi schools and bootleg documentaries, mainly meant to shake the community down for a few more pennies. This black antagonist content is starting to lose favor. After the death of Kevin Samuels, we saw the divestment community show their ass. From YouTube to TikTok to Twitter, you had women all over cheering that this man lost his life randomly at the age of 50-something. My job is not to defend Kevin Samuels or his content, but to be quite honest with you, it wasn't that salacious. I think in the case of Kevin Samuels, a lot of young women had some transference issues. Kevin Samuels became that father, that uncle, that older brother, that male who either disappointed them, didn't support them, or put them down. And the internet trauma bonding shit is not cute. And of all the sectors, the divestment community is the most toxic. Many ex-divestors have come forward and indicated that in many of these discords ran by divestors, all they do is dox each other. In fact, divestors beef more with each other than any other sector. But this is a recurring theme in many of these black antagonist sectors. They beef with each other more than anything. With the death of Kevin Samuels and the demonetization of Fresh and Fit, the black women empowerment sector was poised for dominance in 2023. Oh, but that's not what happened. BWE leader Cynthia G ultimately got removed from the YouTube platform. Now, Cynthia G is still very active on Patreon, and moving to Patreon may be the best thing for her because she started to get a lot of heat.
If we can't eradicate you, why do you care? Why you up here whining and crying with your bussy bleeding all over the place if we can't do nothing? What's the point of you being here then?
A black man is going to hang you in the middle of Congo Square one day. But let me finish my subject.
What? Hang.
What I was saying.
But not before.
2023 was a great year, at least a great year for me. And let's hope we have a great year in 2024. Can we be a little nicer to each other? Can we hold off on some of the wrath? For those of you who are new to my channel, the new subbies, I see you. Welcome to the portal. Thank you for joining me. And I look forward to making more content in 2024. Feel free to leave comments, any suggestions. I'm a pretty open-minded person. With that being said, see you guys in 2024.